That's not nearly a subtle enough joke for our, sophisticated sense of humor.
Who are you trying to fool, Ben?
Hello there, friends, and welcome to the Paranatural Podcast. My name is Ben.
And I'm Quasimodo.
Get back in your tower. He's Jake. And tonight, we are so glad to have you with us as we venture into the small town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, and talk about an encounter with a monster alien robot guy, the Flatwoods Monster. Jacob, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Just fantastic.
Prove it.
I got sunburn.
All right. Well, that's you proved it.
Turns out, a whole bunch of hours sitting out watching little kids play soccer under the blistering sun could have required some sunscreen, but
Hours?
yes, hours. I have two of them and a niece. They were all playing soccer. And It was 80 degrees with zero cloud cover that day.
Well, it's not as bad as the California sun, huh?
No, still not as bad as the California sun. I did not wind up with second-degree burns. Just a regular little sunburn this time.
Neat.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
So how about you? Anything good in your life, buddy?
You.
Aw, thanks, pal.
That's what I got.
Well, all right then. 80 episodes in, we still don't know how to start one of these things.
It's like 84.
Still can't start them. We're the damn. Anyway,
We counted on. I'm pretty sure this is 84 or 85. Okay. We counted them together.
I number them every week, and I still don't know how many there is. With bonus episodes and all that bullshit. So
We're good podcasters.
yes, we are.
We pay attention to the story, not the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Each story is its own individual, thing. It's its own life, and
Because we paid attention to the numbers, we'd probably be disappointed.
that's probably real. But if you would like to keep us from being disappointed, then don't forget, if you enjoy our show, please tell a friend. Tell them about us, share episodes with them, or what have you, and bring them in so they can listen to us. And if you have Apple, leave us that 5-star rating and review. That also helps bring people in. It moves us up the charts. And if we get 50 of those ratings and reviews, we're going to do a live chat on the socials or something, just to come in, say hi to everybody, and all that good stuff. If you want to see this mug and Jake's pretty face
Together.
in the same room. So, yeah, do that.
Do it.
Before we get into this episode, I want to give a shout out to Miss Jamie Heston, who suggested this episode quite some time ago, but we get to it. We get to it eventually. And if you, listeners, have suggestions for episodes, there are several ways you can reach us. You can go to our website, which is, Jacob, what is it?
Paranaturalpodcast.com.
Nailed it. And once you're there, you can use the contact form, or you can hit the little green microphone button, which is down in the right-hand corner, and leave us a voicemail. You can also email us directly at paranaturalpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. However you want to get a hold of us, just get a hold of us.
Yeah.
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 All right, Jake, anything else to add before we talk about the Flatwood Monster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
All righty then. So, sorry, TikTok notification. Anyway.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikToks.
Commie.
I don't, whatever. My girlfriend sends me stuff on TikToks. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, our story begins on September 12th, 1952. You think if I did the episode like that, people would actually listen?
Hey, I would. I mean, I do anyways, but yeah.
Little
So if you want to
nail some David Attenborough out there.
I mean, think Liam Neeson would be better, but
I have a very specific set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for anybody who wants to listen to podcasts. All right, goddamn it. That's enough fucking around out of me.
And I will spam you.
I will find you, and I will bore you with stories about monsters. That is probably the worst Liam Neeson fucking impersonation in the history of the world.
And we're going to name the movie, instead of Taken, it's going to be Krypton.
Krypton. Anywho, September 12th, 1952. A group of boys were playing football at Flatwoods Elementary School. Little pickup game. And without teachers there, they were playing tackle, which is going to become real weird here in a second, because notably among the group of boys were Tommy Heyer and Ronnie Shaver, who were both 10 years old, brothers Eddie and Freddie May, who were 13 and 11 respectively, Neil Nunley at age 14, and Eugene Lemon, who was a 17-year-old member of the West Virginia National Guard stationed in Gassaway. So, yeah, that was a whole lot of age range of boys playing fucking tackle football out there.
Wonder who won.
I would imagine probably Eugene.
It's a pretty manly name.
Because also notably present was Eugene Lemon's dog, whose name and age are unfortunately not noted, but who was a very good dog indeed and liked to participate in the kids' games by indiscriminately chasing the ball and the boys around the field. So he brought a ringer with him.
But his name's Brutus, and he's a Mastiff.
That would be a terrifying thing to see on a football field.
Yeah.
A big-ass Mastiff dog runner. Well, I doubt it was a Mastiff. They are far too lazy to play football. If left to their own devices, they... maybe for a minute, but definitely not for a whole game.
Border Collie named Ted.
Perfect. At around 7:15 p.m., the boys' game was interrupted by a loud, strange noise. They turned their attention towards the sound and saw an extremely bright, burning object streaking through the sky. By streaking, I don't mean it was going through the sky, sans clothing, but was just going quickly through the sky. It crossed the small community and went directly over the boys' heads, giving them a fairly good look at it. They said it looked like a silver dollar with flames shooting off the rear. The boys stood transfixed as the object passed overhead and headed towards the top of a hill directly across from the school. Thinking that it must be some sort of plane, an on-fire plane, they anticipated a crash. Instead, they saw the object slow to a glide and descend to the top of the hill vertically, landing like a helicopter on what was at the time the G. Bailey Fisher Farm. From their vantage point, they could see some type of light coming from the spot where whatever it was had landed. At this point, the boys had become fairly sure that it was not a plane that they had seen and decided that it could be a meteorite or a spaceship or something. But even if it was a plane crash, people would probably need help. So whatever the case was, it was A, way more interesting than a pickup football game, and B, something that after a quick talk over, they decided they needed to go and report to someone. So, fair thinking on their part. Like, whatever's going on, we should tell somebody.
Well, I mean, they're not like every other person in these stories who are like, let's go investigate it, gang. Or are they?
Oh, they are. We're getting there. So, the boys, along with the very good dog, Ted, the very good dog, Ted, took off running from the schoolyard and followed the railroad tracks to the home of Joseph and Leotha Lemon, who may or may not have been related to Eugene. I didn't find that information, but who were definitely related to Eddie and Freddie May. The Lemons were the May boys' grandparents, and it was there at the Lemon residence that they found their mother, Kathleen May. Kathleen questioned the excited and out-of-breath youth. She determined that they were telling the truth about what they had witnessed, and was further convinced when she went outside and looked up the hill. There, just beyond the summit of Bailey Fisher Hill, she saw a bright, glowing light. So, Mama's in now.
It's the best way to have it.
Her first suspicion was that it had been a meteorite that had crashed atop the hill, and much like the boys, she was now very curious. She decided that they should go up the hill and see what there was to see. So, yeah, there goes your fucking theory, buddy.
It's not a theory, it's smart.
Yeah, sure. So Kathleen hands a flashlight to Eugene Lemon, and he, along with Neil Nunley, led the rest of the group up the hill via a farm lane that ran behind the Lemon property. Now, by the time they get going up the hill, it was getting dark, and that allowed them to more easily see the glowing, pulsating light as they went uphill. They thought that the object had landed on top of the hill, but when they got to the summit, they realized it was actually further down on the other side. So down they went. Eventually, they found the object in an open pasture on the right-hand side of the farm lane and stopped about 50 feet away from it. The craft was about 5 feet tall and 25 feet in diameter. They would later say that it looked like a ball of fire in the shape of a half sphere sitting on the ground. Jacob, where have we heard of balls of fire before?
The song?
The song. Great balls of fire.
A few of these stories we have, in fact.
There's a couple. The Travis Walton one comes immediately to
Fire
mind.
in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. If you haven't listened to that episode, please do. It's a very good story.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're standing there looking at this half sphere shaped ball of fire, and they can hear a loud hissing or sizzling sound coming either from the craft or very near the craft. And this sound was accompanied by a squealing and thumping. So it sounds like the spaceship was having some issues. Is kind of what that sounds like to me. Yeah.
Huh.
They're not supposed to thump and squeal.
And be on fire.
And be on fire. Sounds like they need to check their power steering fluid or something.
Yeah.
Oddly, the longer they listened, the less sure they became of the source of the unusual sounds. Unfortunately, that's about all it says about that. That they never figured out exactly what was making the noises. But power steering fluid, pretty sure.
Continuum transfunctioner.
Yeah, they had to Earl up their continuum transfunctioner. It overheated. Caught fire. Squealing, thumping. Caught the whole ship on fire.
Might be a wheel bearing.
Could be. That's what it was, right? They get hot when they go out. You ever touch a rim when a wheel bearing's going out? Jesus, please us. Fucking things get hot as shit. There was a heavy mist in the air, and the group could smell the bitter, acrid odor of something burning. Now, I just want to reiterate the group. Okay, maybe this wasn't exactly clear when I wrote all this down, so I'm going to clear it up right now. The group was the same group of boys that were at the fucking football field, along with Kathleen. A couple of them kids were 10. I just want to make this clear. 2 of those boys were 10-year-olds. 10, 11, 13, 14, 17, 32. That's the ages of the people.
And dog.
And dog. Who was 6.
Okay.
Just because. We named him Ted. Now he's 6. So, yeah, I just want to make it clear these were kids. And Kathleen, that was probably not a wise decision. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not take your 10 and 11-year-old children up the hill to search for a spaceship. Okay? just don't do it.
Mother of the year right there.
Yeah, cutoff age is like 12. All right, let's just call it 12.
Teens and above.
Teens and above. This was 1952, though.
Oh, they have to grow up fast.
They raised their kids a lot tougher.
Yep.
My 10-year-old would be peeing her pants and hiding in her bedroom before going up that fucking hill. Okay, so Anyway, back to the smell. They described the smell as a combination of burning sulfur and burnt metal, which sounds like fucking Bed Bath & Beyond's smell of the season next year. The odor burnt their noses, and their eyes began to become irritated and watery and itchy and stuff.
Yeah, sulfur isn't the greatest smell in the world.
No, not. I mean, burning metal is not that pleasant to the normal nose.
I remember going out to Yellowstone as a kid, and around the geysers, it is just awful.
Yeah, which is something they do not put in the tourist brochure.
Yeah,
how stinky that really is. But yeah, it's a very sulfuric smell.
Yeah.
So yeah, this smelled something akin to like burning matches, egg farts, and hot metal is what I think we're getting at here.
I want that candle.
Yeah, that's the Bed Bath & Beyond seasonal scent right there, boys. There, we got it. We nailed it.
Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah.
Bath & Body Works, you mean?
Isn't Bed Bath & Beyond a store too?
Yeah, but it's like furniture and stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't go in there.
Sissy.
Like, I don't, there's nothing in them places for me. All right.
They have a men's section.
If you use the term men lightly, I guess.
How would you like a luscious head of hair? Nice and soft.
Why? Whose head are you going to bring me? Because I ain't going to get it on my own head.
No, no.
I might get luscious ass hair from using some Bath and Body Works stuff, but that's going to be about it. Nice.
I'm pretty sure they got butt combs.
Nice soft beard. I already got that. All right. Cremo takes care of me on that end.
Go Cremo. The
Fucking
bourbon vanilla.
Dude, legit. They make a good product for a fairly reasonable price. They don't sponsor us, but I wish they would. Cremo, get a hold of me. You have to see this beard. I will sponsor your shit or whatever.
It's a lovely beard. I've felt it. It's nice and soft.
It's epic. Anyway.
And this long, luscious hair of mine smells great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. They make hair products as well.
Yes.
Their
and cologne.
Their shampoo and conditioner, top notch. I actually use it in my beard sometimes.
That's why it's so soft.
Anywho. So obviously the group of children was paying no attention to anything that wasn't the on fire half circle craft. It pretty much just took all of their attention away from anything else that was going on. That is, until they heard something off to their left. There, near a large oak tree, they saw a pair of large, glowing, animal-like eyes peering at them from the darkness.
What was it?
It was a spooky. Eugene pointed the flashlight towards the eyes, expecting to see something perched in the branches of the tree. In the beam of light, they saw something that they would never forget. A huge, towering, monster-like figure.
It's a gecko.
He's going to sell you car insurance.
It's going after you for your car's limited warranty.
He was just there to do the claim on the spaceship. Anyway.
I hope they're covered.
Perhaps it was the flashlight that disturbed the creature, robot, monster thing. Or perhaps it was just being spotted. But whatever the case, it suddenly lit up internally and beams of light issued forth, illuminating the area around the group.
Self-destruction button?
This ship will self-destruct in 1 minute.
Was it the ship or the
alien
creature?
Guy thingy monster thing lit up?
Bioluminescent gecko.
Something. Then the creature, robot, alien, monster thing stepped out fully into view. According to the witnesses, it was 10 to 12 feet tall, which is much taller than your usual Bigfoot.
Or gecko.
The real big gecko. It had a round, blood-red face, huge, bright eyes that projected beams of light, like dual headlights in its face hole. Headlights. Anyway, I just realized that. It had a helmet or a shroud of some kind that covered its head that was dark in color and shaped like a spade on a playing card. So that kind of round butt triangle shape, thing. It had
with a stem.
Yeah, well, it didn't have a stem. It was just like the top part. It had thin arms and small talon-like hands. The rest of it was covered in green metallic material that hung down in vertical like corrugated metal roofing. So if you can imagine like a dress made of like corrugated tin, it would look something like that, green in color. The thing came towards the group. And of course, it wasn't walking because, like so many other things on this fucking channel, things do not walk here. They fucking float.
And when you're down here with me, you float too!
Thank you, Pennywise. Tim Curry.
Yes, I got the OG. But anyway, yeah, it floated. It floated above the ground as it came towards them. Like just a little bit off the ground. It floated. It moved kind of in like an arching path and seemed to be heading actually more towards the ship than the group of witnesses. But it was coming towards them because they were between it and the ship. Eugene tried to backpedal to get some extra distance between him and whatever the hell the thing was, and wound up on his ass for his efforts, dropping the flashlight in the process. So, way to go, Eugene.
Well, at least the thing's glowing.
Right, and they could still see it because of the glowing. Like, they got a pretty good look at this thing for it being dark out. There was plenty of light from the burning ass ship, light from the flashlight for a time, light from the thing for a time. But to add insult to injury, the monster thing decided to go ahead and spray the group with an oily substance while it was on its way by.
Now it's part skunk?
Oily, not stinky, oily.
Oily can be stinky.
I mean, I suppose. They did not describe any sort of scent that came with the oil.
It's because they still got sulfur in their nose.
That's probably real. But getting covered in the monster's high fructose corn syrup was the last straw for the adventurers, and they fucked off back down the hill with the dog leading the charge. So that was it. They beat feet the fuck out of there. Went back down the hill.
High fructose corn syrup. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
So as a group, they legit sprinted back down the hill. And it was only about a quarter of a mile, but it's like a farm lane path, a little windy. They had some gates to get over. And at one of these gates, the boys are like climbing through and under it. And Kathleen just like vaulted the goddamn thing. She was so freaked out. She's like, nope. Over she goes. Apparently it was a mad dash and every man, woman, and child for themselves at that point.
And dog.
The dog was actually out in front. He was like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Hey, you got that button.
No, I don't, actually. The one time I played it was via Bluetooth. Anyway. One or two times I played it. Anyhow. They got back to the Lemon residence, where Grandma and Grandpa lived and all that. And the dog just dipped the fuck under the porch and stayed his ass there. It's like, nope, this is where I'm living now. Everybody else started like telling their story about what happened and trying to get the monster's mayonnaise off of themselves. And which, for the record, none of them kept any of it for further analysis because they never do.
No, never.
At some point, a funeral home owner from the neighboring town of Sutton came to administer first aid, which that is not the person I would have thought would be first on the scene to administer first aid or would have any sort of first aid training. Because, I mean, a funeral home owner, generally by the time they get the person, first aid is pointless as fuck. But anyway,
embalming fluid.
Do funeral home people have medical training? It would kind of make sense, but
maybe autopsy training.
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe funeral home people got more shit than I know about. That's just not the first person I would think to call, but
I would have called the Ghostbusters, honestly.
I mean, for first aid medical training, you got like, okay, EMTs, obviously, a doctor, a veterinarian would be pretty high on my list if you couldn't find one of the other two. I would never consider funeral home director, but I guess I'll put it on the list now.
You better say nurse.
Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of, EMT.
I know she doesn't listen to this, but you better say it.
Nurses, yes. Medical professionals or veterinarians. Those are my top two. After that, I'm like on my own, I would think. But like, nope, I guess I can call the fucking funeral home guy too. Anyway, Eugene passed out from the stress and everything else, just bloop, and had to be brought back with smelling salts. Just about everybody in the group was having trouble breathing. Some of the group became nauseated and began vomiting. Many of their illnesses lasted for several days afterwards. Eugene actually had effects that lingered for several weeks. And unfortunately, Eugene's dog was not immune to any of this and died a few days after the incident. Rip Ted.
Oh, I don't like this story no more.
I know. Rip Ted. Poor Ted.
Need to go, boy.
A doctor who was asked to check out several members of the group said that their symptoms were reminiscent of those who had been exposed to mustard gas.
The gecko didn't get the Geneva Convention, did he?
No, the gecko didn't sign them papers. After medical attention was provided, a call was placed to the Braxton County Sheriff's Office, and I wonder why it took so goddamn long. But anyway, a call was eventually placed. Sheriff Robert Carr and Deputy Burnell Long were just returning from their investigation of earlier calls involving a report of a crash landing near Gasaway. So that very same night, there were other reports of a burning object crashing into a hillside in another town. The Gasaway incident began almost exactly like the Flatwoods situation, with people reporting a burning object crashing into a hillside, like I just said. Unlike in Flatwoods, though, these people were smart and called the police and had them come investigate instead of doing it themselves. The police in Gasaway spoke to several witnesses who told similar stories, but when they went up to check and see if they could find any wreckage of a plane or a meteorite or whatever the hell it might have been, they found absolutely nothing. So they headed back to Sutton, where they received the call about the Flatwoods situation. And Sheriff Carr and Deputy Long showed up in Flatwoods and heard the story from the group. As usual, reporters were not far behind. Eventually, a posse of sorts was assembled, and they went up the hill looking for the monster or the craft or both. Eugene actually accompanied them, and most of these guys were armed at this point. They found absolutely nothing except for some trampled foliage where the group said the craft had been. And in later investigations, many people would come forward and claim to have seen the UFO on that night. And to this day, the story of the Flatwoods Monster is the claim to fame of the town of Flatwoods, West Virginia. So there's the initial story.
Okay. So it wasn't like they didn't see it, cough, or they didn't see it.
No, it was gone. By the time the posse went up there, it was allegedly gone.
Okay.
They did see like the trampled grass area. The next day when they went up to investigate a little more, they found what looked like skid marks in the ground where the aircraft had been.
You would think you'd see some sort of scorch marks.
They found nothing of that sort.
Huh.
I don't remember how much longer later it was. The National Guard was allegedly up there and kind of blocked off the area because by now, of course, people were going up there looking around, and allegedly they blocked off the area. They took soil samples. There's no record of that, but people said they saw it, kind of thing.
Right.
But they never found any real evidence that we know of.
So I guess like the fire was just like contained to the ship.
I guess. But then how do you explain the misty, smoky stuff?
Smoke.
I mean, was the ship emitting some sort of exhaust? I don't honestly know. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
Well, so the sulfur thing, it keeps making me think of geysers. They have like a smoke type of stuff that comes off them, but it goes away real quick. Maybe that's what it was.
There are, in a lot of UFO encounter and especially like alien encounters, people describe the smell of sulfur. It gets weird. We'll tell other stories where that's described. I don't think we've gotten into any yet.
Right.
But we will. We certainly will.
Neat.
Now, there are a ton of theories about what happened that night.
Yay.
Okay. We will dispense with the easiest one to get rid of. A hoax. It's either a hoax or it's not, right?
Right. One or the two.
Yep. So there's not a lot of thinking to be done about that. I don't think it was. Why would so many fucking people say it's a hoax?
Yeah.
I always come back to that. Some of these were kids.
And a dog.
They would have no issue. The kids, not the dog. Dog died.
Yeah.
But the kids later in life, if this was a hoax, you would think one of them would have come forward.
Yeah.
Why would they not? They could very easily be like, look, I was 10 and they told me to say this, so I did. But it's not true. But none of them ever did. So I'm going to chuck hoax out the window. There is the fact that it was a psychological warfare device being tested by the United States Army. Okay, I guess maybe. Like, I don't put a lot of fucking weight in that one.
So like the fumes are like a hallucination type of deal?
I think that's one theory. Another theory is that it was a chemical warfare thing.
Okay.
You know, because I know the Geneva Convention is a thing, but if you think we don't still have chemicals to use, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, it was just a test. But this is like beginning of the Cold War, like era, 52. Mm-hmm. So they were testing all kinds of shit. There's the theory that it was a meteor.
We used it in Vietnam.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
There was some chemical warfare stuff that went on there.
Agent Orange.
Yep. Vietnam didn't sign the fucking papers, so we can do what we want. You know? Yeah. Good. Yeah, thanks. Okay. We're not going to get into that, damn it. It's not right, but it's what happened. The meteorite theory. There are people that say that all that they saw was a meteorite that crashed to the ground.
Right. And
was glowing, apparently, but that does not in any way, shape, or form explain the creature that was seen.
Right. High fructose corn syrup.
There is, of course, the alien theory that it was a flying saucer and that the monster thing was a freaking alien. Right? That kind of the one that like covers everything.
Yeah. Like you say robot alien monster thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely has robotic aspects. Like lighting up.
Yeah, like lighting up the metal.
Yeah.
You know, skin stuff. Kind of floated.
It sounds like a high-tech version of that one Shrump story you told.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Shrump.
Yeah, the Cisco Grove.
Yeah.
Something similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, just more high-tech.
It didn't gas them. It was just like a different kind of robot.
Yeah.
And it really does sound very robotic to me. Like it was either a robotic thing or a creature in some sort of mech suit.
Yeah. And a spade hat.
Yeah, with a spade hat. Well, you got to be stylish.
Yeah. You're making first impressions.
And I'll put pictures up in the Facebook group and on Instagram and stuff. It is a very stylish alien creature monster thing. Very well dressed. It's got like a French Renaissance court feel to it.
I mean, ZZ Top said it best. Women go crazy over sharp dressed man.
That they do. There is the cryptid theory.
Okay.
Which says that this is a creature that just exists on Earth and sometimes gets sighted by observers. But yeah, this is the one and only time I know of that anything even of this sort was sighted, and there was a fucking spaceship. So
it's like Mount Shasta cryptid.
Right. It's like, no, I don't really think it was a cryptid. Like, it's not of this Earth, or at least this dimension of Earth, whatever. There is a theory, it's called the Fortean Beast theory, which is pretty much like the cryptid theory, except that it claims the monster is a paranormal creature as opposed to a naturally occurring creature. And again, yeah, I kind of don't think so.
No.
There is the theory that this was a remotely piloted vehicle, which implies that the craft and the creature were both experimental military vehicles that were operated by remote control and being tested by the government. I don't think in 52 we really had that kind of technology to even play with, number one.
But who knows? It was after Roswell.
Okay, that's maybe fair. But I think if it was a remote controlled exploration device of some sort, it would be extraterrestrial or extra dimensionally controlled more than of Earth control.
Right. Not someone with a controller.
That's my theory. See, we covered the aliens, right? Which, like I said, that one's kind of self-explanatory and makes the most sense to me. And then my favorite theory. It was an owl.
Why? A 12-foot tall owl?
A 12-foot tall owl with a spaceship and flashlight eyes.
Why does this keep happening, Ben?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure owls are getting tired of this shit.
No kidding.
Owls and bears, they get blamed for fucking everything.
They didn't say swamp gas?
Nope, they didn't say swamp gas. Just owl.
Gosh.
Which, okay, so if you just take the creature itself and you take that sighting under the assumption that the people who saw it were idiots, which they were not, okay, maybe. Because owls do have, like, big eyes that glow in a flashlight beam. Yep. And they will swoop down at you.
And they do shoot you with high fructose corn syrup.
Sure. Okay, now that's where it ends, right? They're not 12 feet tall. They're not 12 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
They don't cover multiple people in an oily substance. Their eyes, they do have, eye shine, but once you drop the flashlight, that goes away.
Yeah.
An owl, they'll hiss. The hissing sound, that I suppose could be an owl. Technically speaking, owls hiss.
Definitely smell like sulfur.
Yeah, but there's a lot that an owl does not explain, like you're bringing up right now. They can't create a nauseating, lung issue inducing smoke.
Dog killing smoke.
They can't, be 12 feet tall. I've never seen a 12-foot tall owl, and if I ever do, I will be fucking terrified.
Australia.
If there is one, that's probably where it lives. Fucking Australia. Yeah. Yeah, and last time I checked, owls don't fly spaceships.
Not last time I checked, no.
So, yeah, pretty sure it's not a fucking owl. Fucking idiot.
The most asinine thing that they say.
I mean, I guess it could be more asinine. They could have been like, it was a sparrow. But still, owls.
It was a condor.
It was a condor. Oh, well, I got some stuff in the works for later where condor is going to be the culprit. So don't worry about that.
I'll start blaming albatross.
Albatross. It was an albatross. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of don't think it was an owl. An on fire owl. That's what happened. A 12-foot tall on fire owl attacked him.
That can shoot love juice on you.
Yep.
That kills dogs.
It was a very, very
Potent.
randy owl. He was full.
Yeah, I don't want to meet this owl.
I mean, not like owls can get rid of that problem on their own.
So I think what it was
They don't have
is
thumbs.
it was carrying the giant flaming spacecraft, and it got heavy and also lit the owl on fire. So it dropped it into the hillside gently enough to where it just depressed the foliage,
Right.
but didn't do anything. And well, yeah, so the owl's 12 foot tall, so of course it can carry it.
It's a big owl.
Yep. And then after they left, it recarried it with its burnt feathers.
Snatched it back up,
Yeah.
carried it off to safety.
Metal dress looking feathers.
Yeah.
And great horned owl, but the horn was mutated and it looked like a spade.
Yeah.
And this all happened because of swamp gas.
Or
Could be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
all right. So I'm going with the alien theory. Jacob, how about you?
That was part of the robotic theory, yes.
I mean, I tied them together, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to go for.
Like I'm saying that it was
extraterrestrial robot thing.
But the one thing that kind of stood out to me, okay, the spaceship was described as being 5 feet tall and 25 feet around, right? The robot guy is 12 feet tall. So he either folds up or he was laying down in that bitch.
So the spaceship, it actually flies on its side so he can stand up.
You know, that might be real. A lot of the released Pentagon footage actually shows the crafts like tilting when they fly off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, hey, who knows?
Me? I just answered it.
Or maybe, you know, he's made of corrugated metal. We don't know it wasn't hinged. He could, like, fold up into a real small package.
Technically, yeah.
Just real tiny little package.
He could at least go under 5 foot.
He could. Or he could just lay down. Whatever. Any further thoughts, Jacob?
The owl theory is so dumb.
I know. Owls have got to be getting tired of our shit.
I feel sorry for the owls.
They get blamed for everything.
They do. Kentucky Goblin owls.
At least they didn't say it was fucking kids in costumes this time.
Yeah, well, probably can't say that because you can't really say, oh, yeah, the kid's on fire and 12 feet tall.
It was 4 kids in a trench coat.
four kids in a trench coat, and the top one had owl eyes.
I don't think it could be that because, I mean, quite frankly, all of the kids were down there playing football at the schoolyard. There was apparently only like 12 of them in the entire town. That's why their 10-year-olds had to play with the 17-year-olds. So,
yeah, but
know,
the kids who got disincluded, they planned this all out.
they put on the trench coat, hopped in a spaceship,
Yep. They
recruited
downed the spaceship.
recruited a couple owls, and off you go.
Great big owls.
Great big fucking owls.
It's like the owl from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so very much for joining us and listening to the show each and every week here on the Paranatural Podcast. If you enjoy the show, please do not forget to tell a friend and leave us that 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, we love you. Good night.
We love you. Well, I'll love you more if you get a hold of Joe Rogan, but good night.